Show. Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
That is right. And that is Justin Peters of Platinum Planet Records. Good evening. It's wonderful to be with you. I am really excited. The show is on the road this weekend. So if you're able to tune in, please do. We have a wonderful show for you Saturday, and I'll actually be on the college campus. So that's going to be a little different, a little bit of a different set, just FYI. I have a great show. I have a wonderful friend of the show. She is back. Neferteri Plessy will be with us in just a moment. First up, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Pure Lift Clean Caffeine. They were the very first sponsor of the show. I love to promote Pure Lift. I have used this product again and again and again, and they were so kind. They said, Elizabeth, if you ever need more product, just let us know. I've got to tell you, I wound up using it so much that I had to pay for it at a certain point. I'm like, I cannot ask. You guys are way too kind. It is a wonderful uplift to your day. You can put it in anything, which is why they say energize anything. And it's clean caffeine, which is trademarked by Pure Lift. The caffeine is from unroasted green coffee beans and just a hint of stevia in there, just to give it a little bit of a sweetness. As vitamins A, vitamins B complex, the unique portable energy stir stick, and that is this right here. This is actually unflavored, and it truly is unflavored. It can go in any drink of your choice. It can pop into any purse, any gym bag, anywhere you're going. You can have your stir stick, or you can pop off the top. It just pours right in, and it's wonderful. It also acts as a straw. It's kind of a cool product. It really is. And the plastic is recyclable, so you can't go wrong. They have taste-free, so that is the white one, the white with the green lettering. And the pink one in the image there, that is berry. And then orange is orange, and lime is the lime green colored one that you see in the picture in the background. You can go to purelift.com. That's PURELYFT.com. You can also purchase it on Amazon, Best Buy, and at Home Depot. Who would have thought? Home Depot. So Pure Lift, thank you so much for believing in the show and being a sponsor of the show for nearly 5 years now. So that is a big thing, and we don't take that lightly. All right, so I am really excited to bring the guest up. I have a wonderful intro, and it is so packed full of information. Man, she has an event. Stay tuned, because she has an event that all of you ladies out there, all of you entrepreneurs out there, you can join for free. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. Neferteri is a founder of Single Momsplanet, which assists single mothers overcome the challenges of being single parents by offering parenting classes, counseling, job referrals, mentor programs, single mom brunches, where they can meet and network, as well as business courses on how to succeed in business. As a single mom herself, she was inspired to establish Single Momsplanet as a way to connect with other single mothers who are often left destitute and alone, having to fend for themselves with young children. A former Playboy playmate, fashion model, and actress, she experienced success early on by starring in TV sitcoms and attending lavish Playboy events, celebrity, and Super Bowl parties before crashing down to earth with a failed marriage and toddlers to care for by herself. She is today the founder of Elevated Strategist Marketing Firm and is now also focusing on her program, Smart Mommy Coaching, as well as seeking nominations for the annual Mom of the Year Award scheduled for later in the year through Single Momsplanet. Nominations can be submitted by visiting singlemomsplanet.org. We're going to look at the website. We're going to talk about more on that. And to the show this evening is Neferteri Plessy. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming back to the show. It is really an honor that you enjoyed it the first time and you want to come back again. And you have some big news within the realm of your marketing firm. Can you tell us? It's been about 1.5 years since we last spoke. What's been going on?
Right. Wow. I would have to say a lot has been happening with just the world of business, and having access to online economy for women is just powerful like never before. And so because of Single Moms Planet and what we do in the community, we were really wanting to make sure that we didn't miss the boat on making sure that women were getting the knowledge they need to really go after their dreams, right? To have access to the income that they want to make, create the businesses they want to make, and then get the exposure that they need for their companies, right? So you can have a great business, you can have a great concept, but if no one knows that it exists, well, guess what? You are missing dollars everywhere you look. And so we created the PR Business Masterclass, which is all about rapid media exposure for your brand and your business. And we go over how to pitch yourself, how to craft your brand so that people actually want to pay you for your business expertise and not just pick your brain all day. We really go over how women can just empower themselves and use their voices, pretty much like we're doing right now. There's so many women whose stories are suppressed, and it's killing them. It's killing their genius. It's killing who they are on the planet. And that's what the PR Business Masterclass is all about.
Wow. So, I've noticed, man, before I got my gusto about me, right? I think women have to flourish and we bloom and blossom into people who wake up one day and go, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, I kind of like this thing. And I'm going to make sure that I love myself and I take time for myself and I want to be heard. Because I noticed early on, I would be within a party group setting or a work, social setting, and I just felt like everybody else was talking over me. Mm-hmm. Is that something that that maybe other women ask you about? How can I be heard and be seen?
Absolutely. I would say one of the main things that we teach our clients, and also even in this program that's a free program, is you need to really be learned around your topic, right? You don't need to know everything. You just need to know that you know what you know, like the back of your hand, right? You don't need to walk into the party and know everything about a little bit of everything. What is it that you want to be known for? How do you want to make an impact on the room? And then how do you want to leave the room with knowledge about what you do so that they actually want to do business with you in the future? It's like, it's no point in showing up to the party just to hang out and have fun. You should be showing up to the party, hang out, have fun, and also get a check.
Absolutely. That's focus.
Absolutely. Be intentional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's really powerful. You said so many things from our last broadcast that really stuck with me. And I appreciate your words, your power. You have such amazing focus. How do you center yourself each day? Because that's something that you really have to work on with everything you have going on. You're a business owner, you're a mom, and then some, and then some, and then some, right? Like your day is packed full. How do you guard your focus?
So, guarding your focus really starts the night before, right? So if you are waking up looking for your focus, a lot of times it's difficult to find it because there's sometimes alarms and fires are going off before you even hit the floor, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you can just take a moment, and this is what I'm training my 12-year-old on right now, is like, let's look at what is supposed to happen tomorrow and for the rest of the week. What is the intention that we want to set? And you want to revisit it every night, even if it's for 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be this huge task. But guess what? The other key is that you cannot do it all. And I just did a training on this the other day. Your time and your hour is not the same hour as Beyonce's hour. It's not the same hour as Oprah's hour, right? They're quantum leaping their time. They have staff, they have people to help them. They can hire people that can take their 1 hour and turn it into 10 years of things that it could take you to do in a lifetime. Right? So don't compare your time to what other people are accomplishing. That's number one. Really look at what's possible here, right? Even though you want to do it all, you shouldn't. Right? And so I would have to say that a lot of my success comes from really focusing on, what am I good at? I don't want to be good at what everyone's good at. I want to be really, really good at what I'm good at. I want to get into a masterful space. So that is key. That's how you accomplish more.
When did you have the revelation that that's what you needed to do? Because I don't know that we're born just knowing this masterful marketing plan of how to be successful, right?
Right.
What was your moment?
Well, I believe in mentorship. I believe in having people around me who have already been where I'm headed or where I want to go, right? And I also believe in being coachable, right? I do believe that many of us have had opportunity in front of us that we just did not lean into because we were afraid of what we didn't know about the outcome of all the things we're going to have to do in order to get there, right? So it's almost like the failure to launch experience, right? It's like, that's going to be a lot of work being an adult. So I'll just stay with mom and dad, right? I don't want to do that. I say that I want this success. I say that I want to make the 6 figures or create the 7-figure business plus, but I'm not really willing to go the extra mile. When you hit certain markers in your life, you will not remain the same person that you are as you hit those marks. You must become something else in order to get that accomplished, or you would have done it who you were prior, right? So you really are morphing into the person that gets to the multiple 6-figure business or the 5-figure business, or just gets out of bed, or that goes to the gym, or that starts to eat properly, right? Or that it's focused when their kids are in front of them. Whatever your thing is that you feel as though you need to get a grip on, right? And so you have to acknowledge where you are first. I think that was the number one thing. I acknowledged where I was. I paid attention to where I wanted to go. And then I got upset that I was the cause in the matter of why I wasn't there. I had to stop blaming other people and circumstances and, my marriage didn't work out and all these things that come up for us where it can grip us for 10 years, worrying and thinking about something from the past, and you can never end up reaching what you really want. And so it's okay to get upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get angry. A lot of times anger is that thing that hits you in the head so that you can actually get what you really came here to do. Right. And so that's really important.
How do you beat the anxiety? I've noticed from being a small business owner, and we have a couple of different businesses rocking and rolling in different directions. When you have that step in front of you that you need to take, and even though you know that you're prepared and you have everybody in place, there's still that anxiety of, oh my gosh, what if I'm forgetting about something? What if a piece falls through and it doesn't pan out? Like, how do I get past that anxiety of taking
accountability? Have to have accountability. You need to also have check marks on, there's things that I know need to happen, and you need to leave space for the things that you just don't know that are going to fall through the cracks, right? You want them to fall through the cracks. You want to live in failure. There is no success without failure, because you won't even know what success feels like, right? So you want to embrace the cold water, the deep end. You want to embrace feeling like you're drowning, right? How do you perform under pressure, right? If you master how to perform under pressure, you are in the 1 percentile of the human race. Many people fall apart under pressure. right? So the anxiety is just there when you just want to embrace that it's there and let it happen. Of course, my light went out. I don't think it'll come back on. It's okay.
Wow, that is really powerful because it
Mm-hmm.
seems like we're already programmed to say, no, 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 you want to keep that head above water. Like you never want to condition yourself for failure, but it makes so much sense. What's the number one question you get from somebody who's, they're just like, they've got the logo, they have the business, they have a couple of clients and they can see it, but they just can't make that leap? What's that first question that you get?
I would say the first question I get is they feel like they have to be perfect in order to make the first move. And so they want the colors to be right. They have a logo. And I'm like, just because you have a logo doesn't mean you have a business, right? Just because the colors on your website or the colors on your t-shirt that match this and that, nobody's checking for that. If I drove down the street right now, I wouldn't know what your logo represented. It's not even telling me a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people are going to buy from you. This is what I tell them, because of who you are. What are you sharing about yourself? How are you being vulnerable? How are you showing up as a leader? Do people even know you exist? You're campaigning,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're campaigning for people to even know that you exist and that you get people to buy into the concept of whatever it is that you're selling, whether if it's yourself, your programs, your products. At the end of the day, if I don't know who you are, it doesn't matter if you have a logo or not. I've sold products that were thousands, multi-thousands of dollars and never even called them a name,
Mm-hmm.
right? People wanted the result. And so that's probably where I get that client too, is what is the result that you get for your client or the person who's purchasing your product,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what they're buying from you. If you know how to communicate the result, then you have a lifelong partner in your business.
What about the person that comes to you that says, I love selling. I love that adrenaline. I love the chase. I love trying to close the deal, but I can never close the deal. Where would they need to go to get some help? Are they able to get something out of your workshop? Will that help them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So typically when you're not closing the deal, number one, they're probably just not having enough conversations, right? I have people who say, I did some calls. I got on the phone with them. I'm like, well, how many? I talked to 2 people. They didn't buy. Okay. I mean, you are just really working it out here. I mean, that's a lot of effort you put. 2 people. My goodness. It's just kind of comical. I don't try to make fun of them, but then they start laughing because they're like, oh my God, I didn't even think about it like that. Right. I'm like, call me when you talk to 100.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be literally on the cutting edge of what it is that you're talking about and what you're selling. And the only way you can do that is you got to pick up the phone. You got to get in the direct messages with people. You have to ask people questions. Even the clients that you do have, if someone has purchased from you, find out why. The people who told you no, ask them why. Maybe they'll say it's just not a good fit, right? It's I even say that when I do a sales call on a scale from 1 to 10. How are you feeling? Is this like 10 and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait? Or are you going 1? This is not for me. And they start laughing because I'm like, I want to know. I don't want to sell anything to someone that's not an 8 to a 10. Mm-hmm. And then even when they say they're an 8, I'm like, what do I need to communicate to you to get you to a 10? What is it that's missing in this conversation? Usually the person on that phone is just not listening to their potential customer. They're not listening. They're giving them what they want to give them. They're not giving the person what they said they need. Mm-hmm. Right? People buy based on needs. They buy based on excitement sometimes. Maybe they buy because someone else bought, or they feel as though this is a solution, right? But you can only figure out what the solution is if you listen. And most of us don't know how to listen. We only know how to speak. We know how to react. We know how to respond.
I love that. It's so true. It's really true. I had somebody I was speaking to this past week, and he was a salesperson, and his attitude was amazing. I mean, it was like we were in the middle of some amazing party, in Penthouse Manhattan. Like it was just jiving, right? And that was every phone call. For me, that really helped him sell what he had to sell. How much does your attitude, how much does prepping yourself for that phone call, speaking with a smile on the other end of the phone, how much does that matter?
I think it depends on what you're selling, right? Like
Okay.
typically when I'm in my sales mode and I'm talking to someone, I'm mostly talking to women. And a lot of the times I'm just helping women get out of their own way, right? Sometimes they've never said yes to themselves. They may be afraid. There may be some trauma, right? So there's a lot that could be going on. And I go there because the work that I do with my client is vulnerable, right? So I want to get a feel for, are they willing to be open with me, right? Even in a 30-minute conversation, how are they willing to put the effort in, right? And so sometimes it's just like, it depends on what you're selling. I have a client, and she's amazing. Her name is Megan, and she helps parents with parenting classes and coaching. And so she's got a magical brand. She's dancing, she's smiling. That's her brand. My brand sometimes can be a little bit more serious. I may be kicking in your butt a little bit, right? It's like you give me a response that looks like you just don't want to do the work. I'm going to tell you, you just don't want to do the work. And they're like, you know what? You're right. I'm like, okay, so let's find a solution for that. Well, so it really depends on the brand. You want to make sure that whatever you are wanting that person to experience with you, that it can come through in your sales call. You don't want to create this rah-rah vibe in a sales call, right? And then I get inside of your program, or you sell me your offer and you're dry like paint on a wall, right? Because now I feel like I've been bamboozled. It's like, wait a minute, this person is totally different personality. So even when I do my free trainings, I'm real, I'm raw. That's who I am. And so when they get into my program, they're not going, this person's a totally different woman, right? So I would say the number one thing is, yes, you can keep a high vibe in a sales call, but make sure you carry that over when the person's working with you, when they're going through the experience with you, because it can be the end of your business. It's not a good look.
Wow. So consistency is very important.
I think so. I think it lands in the space of integrity.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the other thing. When you sell on a really high vibe and then you try to bring people back down to earth, they're used to you performing. They're thinking that what you're selling is a part of a performance, not just the curriculum. And so you have to be careful with how you do that, right? Especially if that's not what you're selling. If you're not selling, this animated experience, don't do it, because you have to try to keep that up. You'll lose clients that way.
Wow. So what about meditation? Let me get into Neferteri and what you do to, I can only imagine working with people. It can take a little bit of a toll. You have to also preserve yourself. So how do you preserve yourself?
I do. I meditate every day. So I definitely meditate every day. I eat well. I do take care of myself. I attempt to make sure that I'm in bed by around 9:30 when I can. If I have a deadline that may not happen, like the other night, I had to stay up to 11. I'm pushing through for something that we're working on. And so I really just take the moments when I don't want to do anything and I have the room for that to be an experience. I just let myself have that moment. I just want to lay in the bed and eat ice cream or watch a show. I just let that happen, right? Instead of being guilty or feeling like I'm not doing enough or I'm not being enough or I'm missing something. And then I also make a commitment to myself that I know I got to probably, more than likely, I may have to catch up on something. So I might need to wake up an hour earlier, right? Instead of waking up at 6, and maybe you need to wake up at 5. Instead of going to bed at 9:30, I may not go to bed until 11. And so there's still that integrity connector, right? But I take that time out every night. I make it a point to meditate, pray. I like having different rocks and crystals. I could work on getting more massages and facials. I'm heading into that again. I kind of let that slack a little bit. I think because of COVID, now that I think about it, I was a little nervous to go into massage places and getting facials, people touching on your face. But I would like to get back into that for sure. Well, and I like exercise and walks, and you just get it in where you can always have like tennis shoes in my trunk because I may want to take a walk or go play basketball with my son. So I want us to also look at, when we think of the terminology of like self-care, that you really look at what are the things that you love, not what the world is telling you is self-care, right? Because the world could be telling you self-care is lay down and meditate for 5 days, right? Or fast for 2 weeks out of the month, right? So you really want to look at what makes you smile, what vibrates you, what uplifts you, what makes you want to go the extra mile, and just do more of that. It may not look like what Neferteri does. You just need to know what that is. Like if it's spending that extra 20 minutes with your kid, or going for a walk, or eating that ice cream, or cooking that recipe, do it and just double it up. That I think that sometimes we just don't, we think it needs to look like what someone else is doing, and we miss the boat.
Absolutely. I've noticed that we, like you said, you feel like baking some cookies because that feeling of being in the kitchen and creating, like you're in that creative space. So embrace it. And, it is nice that the world has an outlet to share what they do. And like what you just shared with the world of what you do, because I love listening to you. I love learning from you and learning from others. One thing that I've picked up is meditation. Is there a particular coach that you like to listen to through your meditations, or a particular type of meditation you like to do?
You know what I do? I typically go and lean toward, I would call it YouTube. There's these sleep meditations. I just kind of like Google, sleep meditations, or client attraction meditations. Depends on what I'm working on, or, abundance meditations. And they're like 8 hours long. So they go all night. Right. And I just pop them on. I have them in my phone. I turn off any the different Wi-Fis. I don't like to have a lot of, I don't sleep with the TV, just anything that's just got some type of connection to it. I try to cut it off as much as possible. And I just go into the space of just allowing those. I like guided meditations. Those really do well for me.
I've noticed the same. It's so easy to get the mind to rest because we're still doing something. We're still listening, So it's like, oh, I'm on autopilot. This is fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that. I have pulled up your website, and I would love to talk about the Monday night experience through your PR Business Masterclass. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So the PR Business Masterclass, I host this masterclass probably about 4 times a year. And this masterclass is really geared towards helping women in business just take off and having the support that they need around their business. And I really run this program, although it's free to the community, I run it just as if it was a paid program, right? So we have support coaches in here. I have my team in here. We're sending out emails. We actually also do free calls where we're coaching you on your brand, on your business, helping you plan your 2022 media plan. And what is that going to look like? And so we cover the PR opportunities that you're missing in day 1. We go over setting your PR campaign goals in day 2, developing your story in day 3, designing your press kit in day 4, where I actually help you craft your press kit, give you notes on your press kit so that you can attract media to your business. And day 5, we go over how to pitch your business to the media, to the press, and how to get six-figure partnerships. And so that's what we cover.
What made you decide to give this out for free?
I think it really has to do with my philanthropic background. And because of the pandemic, a lot of the classes and the coaching that we were doing with Single Moms Planet, we weren't able to do as much because everything was in person initially with that brand. And I wanted to make sure that women knew the things that I know, they had access to it. I've worked with brands and companies since I was 18 years old. I had my first online business when I was 18 years old. Wow. So it's like, it was like during COVID, it had me sit down and say, wow, I don't think people know that I know so much about business, because it just wasn't something I advertised online. I was still modeling and hosting TV. So I wasn't like going on and saying I'm a business expert, right? And so when COVID happened, it allowed me just to take the time to actually craft the brand around myself so that people had access to this high level caliber information and content to really create a business that they really enjoy, a business that's based on their lifestyle, not just on making money, but what's the lifestyle that you want to create. That's how we create businesses in my company. That's how my whole team looks at it. How do you want to live? Where do you want to drive? How do you want to wake up in the morning? Do you want low levels of stress? Do you want to see your kids? And so, do you not want to be on phone calls all day? Do you only want to work 3 days a week? Whatever you really want, we help women craft their business around that.
Do you ever have men contact you saying, you know what, I really want to get in and learn something in this program. Can I?
Absolutely. We do work with men. In this particular program, we don't have men in this program. There's women they're talking about sometimes, domestic violence, abuse, sexual trauma. We like it to stay very safe for the women to share, because we need to strip those things, get those things out so that they can actually start to really become that woman that they need to become. And sometimes they just don't have a safe space to communicate. So we give them this safe space. I've been working with men for years, over 15 years, marketing, PR, running companies, redoing all of hiring their whole companies, firing their whole companies. So yeah, we have male clients. We have athletes that are our clients from the NFL. We work with NBA players. So we definitely work with men. But for this online class, we do keep it to the women because a lot of them are at home trying to take care of the kids. They're trying to some have aging parents. So they're at home trying to figure out, how do I keep income coming in? How do I save? How do I invest? And so we want to make this safe space for them.
There's a lot of children that actually have some forward motion in business, and they have started little businesses. They have become certified. I was reporting on the news a couple of weeks ago, and there's a young lady, she's 6 years old, and she has been certified as the first certified organic farmer. Yeah. And I'm thinking, she can very easily take that and start a business. Do you have youth contacting you for coaching?
We do. We actually have a program called Smart Kids, Smart Money. And we have actually worked with families whose children are starting their own businesses and their parents are supporting them. We've at least had 2 to 3 clients in this space. And so, yes, that's definitely a realm that we thrive in, and we help them create online programming, really start economy in their business. And my son, actually, he's in a business program. I'm not his coach. He has a different person that's working with him. He's 15. But, their dad is my ex-husband, he's very into business. And so he's a great example for them as well. And he leads the way with that, too. So that it's a great fit for sure.
Wow. Well, you just have something for everybody. I love it. So everybody can go to neferteriplessy.com, and that is neferteriplessy.com. We have another website, another foundation that you've created, and this is in the single moms world. It's called singlemomsplanet.org. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there. We had talked about that about a year and a half ago. Let's get caught up with that. What you got going on?
I know, right? So Single Moms Planet, wow. What a beautiful journey. You know, we have been thriving still in the single mom space for all these years. We've been around for about 7 years now. And we have our community. We have women that are just thriving in the mom space. They're thriving in the financial literacy space and also the child enrichment. Those are the areas that we mostly focus in, is getting the moms that mom coaching, and also just getting them feeling good about being a mom and not stressing out and not feeling like they're getting it wrong, you know, really focusing that mindset. And I really started this organization because 4 out of 10 children are living with single parents, right? So we have single dads and we have single moms. And a lot of the children are even more so with the divorce rate living in these split family households. And so Single Moms Planet was crafted to really help empower these families. And the number one thing we noticed was that the financial education was lacking. And so that's why through financial literacy, our programs are really structured in that to help transform the single mother household into getting out of the poverty cycle, right? So it's a cycle. And so if the mother is not learning and the child is not learning, the father's not learning, who's teaching the children? And then you end up with the same repetitive nature. And so that's where our focus is with that organization.
Wow. Wow. You know, it's so interesting how much of our formative years, our youth in our formative years, that we know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And we don't even know that we don't know it, right? It's that whole cyclical that's true going on. So how do you break the cycle? Do you have a hard time getting some thought processes through, especially on the financial side, of saying, okay, now it's you and the kids, and here, this is how we're going to make a budget work for you. This is how you're going to save and be able to climb out of this and into the positive?
You know, sometimes it can be a little bit of a uphill battle for some that really haven't had anyone communicate with them in a structured way around how money works, right? So most people don't really understand that money is a vibration. Money loves us, right? So a lot of times we hear, you know, money's the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. We hear all these negative conversations around money. Well, guess what? We are the creators of money. Money only exists because we say it does. Money only has value because we give it value. If money didn't have value and we said it didn't have value and nobody cared about money anymore, it just wouldn't exist. We go back to the barter system, right? And so I think that that's where we start off initially, is just the mindset around money, right? The conversations that we have about money, right? How are we relating to it? Are we loving on ourselves? Are we loving on the money that we already have? Are we blessing the money? Are we telling the money where to go? Are we telling the money what to do? The number one thing that I know, because I've literally seen my account have lots of zeros in it, a year goes by and I'm going, what just happened? Because the money didn't have a plan and I didn't have a plan for the money. So the money disappears when you do that, right? Where there is no plan, there is no money, right? You don't have a plan for it, it disappears. And anybody in here, I think you know what I'm talking about. You could open up your wallet one day, you have a bunch of $100 bills. That money, you just like, oh, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. You look in that wallet, it's empty, right? Didn't have a plan for that money. And so that is the number one thing that we teach women. It's like, even if you want to, we really do also shift the perception around credit, right? And loans. I have so many women that come to me and they say, oh, I don't want to get a loan for my business. And I'm like, but wait a minute, if you have a plan for the money and you have a 3% interest rate, right? Or you could borrow this money for 5 years with no interest rate and you don't have to pay it back for 5 years, but you could take that money and triple it and invest it properly because you have a plan. Why wouldn't you want to get a loan for your business if you know what you're doing with the money? It's the lack of the knowledge and the terminology, right? And then a lot of times the financial institutions, the language that they use is above our heads. A lot of times the concepts, even when you get a report about your IRA or your 401k or your investments, you're going, what in the hell are they? What is this? Right? It's like, what are y'all talking to? This is like looking at a different language. And you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You are looking at a different language. You're looking at the language of money. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you don't master it, that's okay. But you need to have someone in your corner that has your back. So when you meet that one financial advisor, don't stop. Meet 5 of them. Right? Dig into them. Find out who are their clients, who they work with. What do they work with? People who have smaller budgets, or do you only really pay attention to people who have $10 million in the bank?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if
Right.
you give them your $1,000 a month, they may ignore you and not care about your account. So you want to make sure that you also know what's going on with your money. Right? Don't wait to the end of if you're waiting to the end of the month to find out what's going on with your money, you're missing the boat.
Wow. I do enjoy the information that's being fed to us out there about financial advisors, and realizing that if you have just a couple $100, you can speak to a financial advisor. I really am a huge advocate of trying to get financial knowledge and education into our public education system.
Absolutely.
It's so huge. There's so many things that I can think of that I wanted to do, and I had no clue how to get there. And this is really, really powerful. So how much of the program will educate single moms on finances? How much of it educates them on, I guess you're going over time management, self-care? What are some of the other things that you not facilitate I think is the word I'm really looking for, more than teach?
We actually go into social media marketing, pitching your business, creating a deal, how to have a conversation around a deal. Instead of having a one-hit wonder event or program, we want women to create, 3-year deal conversations, right? So we want to take that one conversation and turn it into a multi-layered deal. How do you do that? Right? How do you build a brand that people can see is going to have a shelf life beyond this one event? Right? Because if I'm the marketing person and I hold the purse, I don't want to talk to 15 people every 2 months because I need to get this money invested into something. I'd rather talk to 1 or 2 people 2 times a year max on how are we going to get this budget going for the next 3 years. Right? You have the audience that I want. How do they express that? They are the demographic that we need. How does the client express that? So we show you how to communicate so that people actually want to do business with you, which is key, right? Because sometimes we get really frustrated. It's just because we don't know how to package it.
Yeah.
You got to know how to package it. Once you know how to package it, you know how to communicate what it is that you want, then you're unstoppable at that point. And so we cover all of those things inside of our program, inside of the PR Business Masterclass. So definitely sign up. It's high level. I have people who say they've paid thousands of dollars for programs, and what we deliver at no cost to the community is surpassing what they ever would imagine.
Wow. That is a lot of building blocks that you have stacked and put together. How long did it take you to put all the pieces together, or is it an evolution? And are you finding more areas where, you know what, this needs some focus, so let's bring that building block over and add that to our programs?
For this program, it definitely does have some evolutionary stages, but this program is the solid evolution because we've been doing it for about a year now. And so when someone joins my program to work with me, we are consistently tweaking that. Sometimes it can be on a daily basis. It could even be that I have a conversation with one of my business partners and we have an aha moment because we need clients to get to a certain level of results, right? But that's what we're working with people for 3 months, 6 months, a year plus, right? But in this program, because it is 5 days, we have crafted the ultimate formula for success. Right. And so we stick to that. This is the thing. And this is a thing that I talk to about with my clients. Sometimes they're like, okay, Neferteri, I did the 3 things that you said. I'm like, great. How's it going? They're like, it's fantastic. This is going well. I made triple the amount of money I made last month. This is the best month I've ever had. And I'm like, okay, great. They're like, I'm like, do that again. They're like, do it again. Yeah, do that again. They're like, well, I wanted to go and make a new skincare line, and I want to go formulate some new candles. And I'm like, you're trying to get creative. You're hiding from your business. Business is consistency. Business is you get up and you do it again. If it worked, you do that again.
Yeah.
If you can, you do double of that again because it's working. You don't tweak something that's working until you've mastered the formula to know that that is exactly working, and you can hand it off to someone else. It's called a process. If you have not created a process and procedure for the formula that's working in your business, you don't have a business, right? Because you're the only one who can operate it. That's not a business. You're a solopreneur at that point. No one can take it over for you. Once you master that process, then you start adding on things, right? Because you're layering it. It's like McDonald's. I have my fries and my milkshakes and a burger. Okay, great. Now let's make chicken nuggets. We know that we can make billions of dollars selling milkshakes, fries, and burgers. We know it. We've done it. We've proven it. Now we add more. Right?
Very, very smart. That's so grown up. I mean, you're talking about listening and maturing and really having the consistency and the integrity. That takes a lot. I love what I'm hearing about this masterclass. If someone cannot join on Monday, when would the next one be? And what does it normally cost to go through the masterclass?
So for this particular masterclass, wow, we normally would do something like this. It's about a 2-week program because we also do bonus content after the 5 days. So we don't charge for this program though, but I do have programs that I do charge for. Okay. And typically those are when someone's getting on the phone with me. Like none of our things are cookie cutter. Like they don't just have like a price where you click and buy it, because I need to know who I'm going to be working with and if they're a good fit for my company, if I'm a good fit for them. And so we're always open to jumping on a call, seeing how we can work together. Even when I first talk to someone, it's never about the price. It's just like, what do you want? Is my team and myself able to deliver it? Right? Can we deliver what you want? And I get really bare bones. Like people say, I want media. I'm like, what does that mean? Right. Do you want to be on television? Do you want to be on the cover of Cosmopolitan? Like, what are you saying to me right now? Right? And then I break down, well, this is what it's going to take for you to get there. Are you willing to do that? It's not magical. There's no unicorns flying around over here, right? Are you willing to do the work in order to get that result? And I notice that I get really high caliber clients who commit because I literally lay it out. I'm like, we're not going to play games, because you'll get over here working with me, and then I'm asking you for things, you're not delivering them. You're wasting my time and you're wasting your money, right? So I love having real phone calls with clients prior to them signing on with me. And so we do that in the class too. So we're accessible, we're available to chat. What do you want to create? Why do you want to create it? Are you sure you really want to do this? Because it's going to be a commitment. You might strike it rich in 3 months. I mean, it could happen. But if that's the only reason why you want to work with me, I don't want to work with a client like that, right? Because we're talking about, you strike it rich. Now, what about next month? Right? What about the month after that? Right? So, it's definitely that type of rhythm.
That takes a lot of heart. It takes a lot of caring about the fellow man to do that. And I love that you have all of that heart and soul into what you're doing, and you're working with somebody else that has heart and soul into what they're doing. And they're not just a flash in the pan. They're going to be there 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years later.
Absolutely.
You have a really nice event that you offer to the single moms. And I've heard that you are looking for the Mom of the Year, potential Mom of the Year. So you're looking for nominations. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that event? How can we nominate a mom?
Yes, so we are always looking for amazing women, right? So we've honored some fantastic women all the way from Anastasia of Beverly Hills, Maite Garcia, she's Princess ex-wife. We've honored Tosca Musk, Elon Musk's sister. So we've honored some amazing women over the year. And the way that you are able to honor a mom, you want to email us is a great way to do that. Or you can also visit our website. So you can email us at support@singlemomsplanet.org. Support@singlemomsplanet.org is a great way for you to get in contact with us, and you can nominate a mom. That mom will be honored. We do a gala event. It's a 5-star dinner. It's in Los Angeles where we do the award show, and it is fabulous. We typically have over 200 people that come out and support. We get support from the LA Rams. We get support from the Los Angeles Clippers. The LA, is just like a beautiful thing. Red carpet, gala, just a beautiful experience. We have people fly from all over the world for this event, literally Thailand, Australia, Dubai. I mean, it's just a fantastic experience. And it's just lovely. We have live jazz music, appetizers, gowns. It's like the whole thing. And we primarily did that because a lot of times when you hear the term single mother, it's just like hard times, like the hard knock life. And so we were like, what if we created an event that highlighted the glamour of a single mom, the single moms that you may not know about because the media is not talking about them. They're not highlighting the mom who had $5 in her bank account and turned it into a $20 million business, right? Melissa Keeling, the owner of a company called Packet, her products in all the Targets throughout the world, right? So we highlight the mothers that the media is not going to highlight. They're not talking about it because it's not the gunshot victim wound, on the 5 o'clock news. And so we do that. We pull in sponsors, we pull in the community, and we just make it beautiful.
Now, I have a video here. This is, I believe it was from the 5th awards.
Yes, it's one of our sponsors, yes.
I would love to play this video. Can you tell us, as I'm bringing up the video to the stream, would you mind telling us where was this?
Yeah, so this was at the Peninsula in Beverly Hills, the Peninsula Hotel. And this was an amazing award show. We had a brunch. And this is one of our sponsors, Asia Saffold. Her and her husband sponsor the award show every year.
All right. And let's take a watch.
Oh my goodness. It feels amazing. I am ecstatic. It went really well. Everything looked beautiful. The honorees looked amazing. We had some amazing gift bag sponsors. The speeches were great. We had a panel. Smart Mommy, Smart Money was our panel, which was really, really amazing as well. Our turnout was great. We were sold out. People standing in the back row. People just were like, we just want to come. Just let us come. I'm like, I don't have a seat, but you can come. Right. And so we're really excited. We're excited to be here again for another year at the Peninsula Hotel and to have a 5th year anniversary. It's just really a blessing.
What do you do for you? I know you have your kids and you have your career, and I'm sure you're busy all the time, but what do you do for yourself when you are stressed and you just need to wind down? What is your go-to for your self-care?
Well, you know what? One of the biggest things in my self-care is journaling.
Yes.
I try to journal every day, and it helps me keep track of my thoughts and my feelings and my goals.
Yeah.
I also read a lot because I'm all about learning something different and and being a part of my own evolution, not just letting things happen, but making things happen.
Right.
And you know, I do the typical things girls do. I get my nails done, I get my hair done. You know, I go to the spa with my girlfriends. I just took out my girlfriends on a wine tour.
Oh, fun.
So every now and then, you know, I find ways to do things that are small. They may only take a few hours.
Yeah.
But they give me that little bit of woosah. I just got back from Miami, so you know, yeah. So I got it in there every now and then.
Good. That's awesome. It really does. I know all the moms can relate. It takes a village to make things happen, and I do want to thank my village. I have my nanny here, Jenna, for coming. She's always there for me. I can lean on her for anything. She
Oh, wow. That looks like a fantastic, high-end event. That's
Yes.
you have all the decorations. I love the flower wall. That was
yes.
a nice touch. And I love what was said there. Being a part of my own evolution was a part of her self-care. That's
so
big.
good. Yes, that was Tiffany, one of our honorees. Yeah, amazing.
Wow. All right. So if we have a mom we'd like to nominate, we can email at support@singlemomsplanet.org. That's SUPPORT at SINGLEMOMSPLANET.org. And Neferteri, I want to thank you so much for your time once again on the show. This has been so fun. You are absolutely fabulous. You are always on the move, and you educate me every single time. It's supposed to be an interview where I'm just asking you questions, but I get so involved with what you're saying that I have a takeaway from this one, just as I had a takeaway a year and a half ago when you graced us on this show. And I want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What was your biggest takeaway?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the biggest takeaway is going to be just having that focus where you had said that when you go to sleep at night, you have to have the focus for what's happening tomorrow and the next day, but not in an anxiety-ridden way, like just as a plan. If you don't have that planned out, like don't expect to wake up in the morning and then go, okay, let me open up my calendar. And that's huge. I think there's a lot of us that wait for the alarm clock to go off. And then, you know, we get on the computer, we look at our phone right away before our butt's even out of bed. And I just think that is really going to take me through. I'm going to watch this again. I have to.
I love it. I love it. That's a great takeaway. I love that. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening tonight. And I hope that you're doing something fun. And come back on again, please.
Of course, anytime.
All right. Well,
okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness, everybody. All right. So there's the websites. You need to go write them down. It's singlemomsplanet.org and neferteriplessy.com. Check them out. Make sure you catalog them. Go back to them frequently. She's always, always out there with wonderful programs, wonderful coaching for you and for your loved ones and for your children. I mean, please go back and watch the show again and again and again. Everybody, as always, I do have a message for this evening. I don't have any news or anything like that I've had before, but I did get a phone call, I must say, before I went live, and it's some heavy news. You know, we've had a great interview. I love Neferteri. She's a friend of the show. She's a friend of mine, and I love having her on. And I do also love my manager, my agent in Los Angeles. I got the phone call this evening that Mr. Mike Gerard has passed away. And I want to say a few things about just how special he has been in my life. To find someone who can guide you and mentor you, who believes in you, who is your fan, is really hard to find. And it's very heavy news to hear that our friend kind-hearted, wonderful man, always willing to protect all of his clients, his friends, his family, and had true integrity in the industry in Los Angeles. My agent of Esprit Talent LA, Mike Gerard. Rest in peace. That big smile will be missed. Absolutely be missed. All right, everybody. I even don't want to take his picture down. Special, special person. All right. We are blessed. You are blessed. Mwah. I love you. Tune in Saturday morning. The show will be back, and I will be so happy to greet you once again. Have a wonderful evening.